Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first new episode of the DKM podcast starting 2022. I am fucking excited, guys. How are you guys feeling today?
I'm chilling, dude. New year, enjoying the nice cool weather. Obviously here in the deep south down here in Florida.
Deep
But
South, yeah.
I mean, there's no way to really say it because when you say the south, everyone thinks about Louisiana,
Yeah, that's
Texas,
true. Georgia.
Tennessee. Yeah, but dog, no. Like,
No, it's
Oh,
really
there's
funny because in
Florida.
Florida you gotta go up north to get to the deep south.
apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why they
Yeah.
say the word deep south, which I don't quite understand because obviously Florida's the most south you can go. You know, obviously, for those who aren't aware, everyone here knows it, at least us recording. In Key West, there is a point that says the most southern point of the U.S.,
It's
right?
not. It's actually the Navy base that's next to it.
Right, I get that. But they make it as a landmark, like an actual
Yeah.
land thing, right?
Mhm.
So I wonder if there's a most northern part of the U.S. anywhere in Alaska, because I know over there it's way up north, it's way up cold. So I wonder if it's the same thing. Same thing with east and west.
Wouldn't
Most
it be
western
the
point.
continental United States? Like, Alaska is separated by Canada, so...
True, but it's still U.S. Like it's an actual state.
Yeah,
so.
it could be a state, but it's not connected to the other states. So,
But yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it's like-
so it's dumb.
But like, what about Hawaii? Hawaii is a fucking
Yeah,
island.
Hawaii is an
That's
island.
Yeah.
honestly, the history with the United States and Hawaii is kind of scummy, but I guess it's a state now. Which, fun fact, I think Hawaii is one of the few, if not the only state in America that grows their own coffee.
Really.
Like,
Yeah.
like for commercial use. Like, because it's an island and it's separated from everything else, America can just, import it from anywhere else, and they have a flat rate, but since this is an island, it's got to go all the way.
Yeah, in the
either
middle of
through-
the Pacific Ocean. I mean, holy crap. Well,
Right,
you would
so-
think that it would be cheaper if it came from Japan. Just saying.
I don't know the logistics behind it. All I know is that apparently when it comes to like commercial use, it grows its own coffee bean.
Right.
And I think that's quite interesting that Hawaii doesn't want to deal with spending extra money. But yeah, so far this year's been good. Learning new
so
stuff.
let's get to that. So let's recap. Oh wait, Kenny, we didn't say how are you doing today?
I'm good. I mean, New Year. It's nice outside. Obviously nowhere else in the United States is it nice outside, other than maybe California.
Yeah,
Let's see. I had
I'm
a
finally glad I could wear a hoodie.
yeah.
for once.
I mean, I don't know. I'm happy right now. It's a good time.
That's
I'm
good.
in school. School's good, so we good.
Life's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So the new year's finally here. 2022 is finally here, folks. So before we get into looking forward, let's take a step back and let's look at 2021 and the recap. So, how will you guys describe year 2021?
And with regards, in what lens are we viewing this? Because obviously,
I mean, just in
there's-
general, like, how would you describe it? Like, if you could give it like a sentence, just like, and then we could just go from there.
recovery.
Recover. Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
Because obviously the big thing that everyone's recovering from, and it's people have lost some folks. People have lost businesses, lost jobs, lost friends and family, lifestyles. A lot of people. Well, I guess Florida, it being its own wacky state, that what do you call it? That likes to do its own rules. Everyone's like, oh look, Florida's over there, not following like certain guidelines, CDC guidelines, and yada yada yada. So like, I guess some sort of semblance of normality came back to Florida a little bit faster than the rest
Florida
of the states.
is essentially a custom game lobby.
Basically, right? So like, a lot of the U.S. is still like look at New York and California, that they have their own what do you call it? Their own set of rules about
They want to be a
what-
freaking. They want to be their own country, pretty much. They might as well be.
Right, but Florida's doing its own thing, like it's its own country. That's the whole point of the federal United States, that each country's supposed to do their own thing. I mean, each state, I'm sorry, supposed to do their own thing,
Yeah.
whereas the federal government oversees certain things that the states can't really
Right.
pass. So like, there's
I thought
certain
this
like
was America.
But either way, like obviously Florida, like we stopped caring about masks, so like a semblance of normality has come back to this state a lot faster. But obviously, people are still recovering. With this new variant, I won't say the name in case the video gets shadow banned or flagged or something. It's
Okay.
not as lethal, so people are legit treating it like it's a joke. A lot of people have been
Well,
getting.
that's the crazy thing though, because so many people I know have gotten the variant.
Me
Yeah,
too.
I did.
And
I got the new one.
I think in Florida, 1 in 3 cases that are tests for to see if you had it or not. I think 1 in 3, about 33 or 34% of it. I think it was 36 actually percent. Of them came back positive. So like it's sure it might be the minority, but it's still a lot of cases and how infectious it is. But I mean, this is the part where people are getting really tired of the actual disease itself, the virus, I should say, and people are just like, we don't care anymore, and they're pushing that whole thing to normality and recovery. So I would say 2021 is more for recovery. Obviously, the industry that we love the most when it comes to like what we consider as a hobby, gaming and live streaming has blown up
Yeah.
because a lot of people have been staying home. A lot of people have been focusing on staying home with regards to working as well. So 2021 was an interesting year where a lot of people were like, hey, we get to do a lot of new stuff. We needed to get rid of a lot of old stuff. So 2021 is very hard year, but it's recovery, I would say. So that's my TED
So
talk.
okay, but yeah, but like I want to get like more of your personal take on it. Like, how was your 2021? Like, did anything change in 2021 that you feel like is different from 2020? Because I'm looking
Uh,
at this more like a recap thing, you know?
yeah. Well, start of the year, I got the Rona, right? But like
Mm.
the one where you lost your taste and everything, and at the very beginning. But I like that's all that ever happened to me. The rest of the year was pretty chill. I just played a lot of video games. Obviously, we focused on this podcast. We were
Which
fresh,
that is something to commend. We have been doing this podcast for over a year now,
right?
so that's I didn't think we were honestly. I didn't, it's kind of crazy when you look back and in the grand scheme of things, like we did this whole podcast with varying results for over a year now, and that's something to commend.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
It's just a
true.
bunch of boys just talking over on the microphone, separated by a couple miles in between us. So yeah, it's pretty chill. But so far this year's been pretty like the same overall. Nothing really too big happened. Other than just enjoying my life, being humble for what I have, and that's really it.
Okay, so nothing drastic. What about you, Kenny?
So, I mean, I started school in 2021. I got a new job that I like. And
Okay.
let's see. It's kind of been a roller coaster for 2021, for being honest. Like, I pretty much started the year out in a completely different like work field, and now I'm looking towards my future where, software engineering, game development is going to be my future after that year. There was also a lot of like, I don't want to say down like bad things that happened, but like there was
Hmm.
certain things that kind of made
Yeah, ups and downs. It
2021,
happens.
crappy, but overall
Hmm.
it was a better year than 2020 by far.
Right, right. Okay. Well, as for my take, I'd say like how Marco said it. My opinion about 2021 was it was a very recovery year. If I could describe it like this, like 2020 was like the eye of the storm for me. It was when life was getting pretty stressful, mainly with my job. Like every night was always a problem with the mask mandate and and all the jackasses we had to deal with at my job. It was just so aggravating. And 2021 kind of rolled around, and I was like, I wanted to leave my job in 2020 because it was just so stressful. But at the time, I was like so hesitant because it was like, not a lot of people are able to, secure a job, and a lot of people were getting laid off left, right, and center. So it was kind of a time where it's like, yeah, I want to leave this job because this shit's aggravating, but how would I be sure if I'm going to find anything else? So when 2021 rolled around, I was like, okay, I'm going to let it, let the waves pass a little and see how everything looks before I make like any of those drastic jumps or changes in my life. And I would say I was dragging my feet a little, but at the way I looked at it was like, you know what? I went through a whole year of bullshit and dealing with all that mess in 2020 that I'm okay with 2021 being a little bit more calmer and a little bit more easier. Um, but aside that though, I really enjoyed certain things. Like I'm glad that we did get this podcast show up and running. Some changes have been happening. I decided not to stream on Twitch anymore, to go stream on YouTube, which hopefully with 2022 rolling around and that update they mentioned gets dropped fairly soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll be able to get back into streaming more consistently if if the stars align and everything's been if everything is pretty good. But yeah, 2021, very calm, very simple, a little boring, you might even say, a little bit monotonous. But honestly, though, after the shit show that was 2020, I'm not going to complain. I'd rather have an easy year with less problems than having to change up everything every day. But what I am going to say, though, is for 2022, though, I want to see some changes in my life, whether it be my job, this channel, this podcast, my streams, my YouTube. I just want to live my life a little bit more different because I'm tired of repetition and monotony.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to start 2022 off with getting myself a new job to get out of the overnight because, yeah, after 3 years, man, this shit's fucking wears you down.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that struggle all too well.
Right, and so I need to get the fuck out of that. I need to get myself a better cycle a little bit just so I could get myself on my ball rolling, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, what do you guys any New Year's resolutions or plans you have for this current year?
Honestly, I've been pushing out my I went to a technical college, and at the end of it, you take this big ol' license test to take this federal license that's basically renowned worldwide. You just show it up to like any business that can accept it, and they'll just be like, yeah, even though you're not from this country, we'll take this because it's backed by the U.S. So like I definitely need to like stop what's it called beating around the bush with that and just go for it. So that's one of my things, and I've been actually studying for it. And yeah, I feel like I was quite surprised as well. Like, I've never had a New Year's resolution saying like, oh, I'm gonna lose weight, but I go to Planet Fitness often, and Planet Fitness has a tracker that says, hey, so many people here are at this gym. They have a little like crowd meter or whatever. So at the gym, you go up, you scan your barcode, or they log you in, and then boom, you're in. But at the beginning of this year, I saw the tracker. It wasn't full. Usually the first week of the new year, the gym's full. Mm-hmm. Perhaps that's because of the virus. Who knows? But all I know is that a lot of people were trying to like avoid crowded places overall. So all I know is that a lot of people's New Year's resolutions was to lose weight, but I wonder how they're going to go around it without actually going to the gym, which is possible.
You do at home workouts. I mean,
right.
I just started riding my bicycle again. I mean, it's been a long time since I've ridden my bicycle, and I went fishing. You know, I've been trying to get out of the house more because in between school and work and video games, it's like that's all I do.
Yeah, you need that breath of fresh air. You just need to turn off the phone and just look at the grass a little. You know,
yeah, I need to touch some grass. Exactly.
It really does wonders for you, though. I do recommend it. Like, just I need to get back into it. I've just been really slacking on it, but just taking that 30 minutes of just walking around your park or some shit.
Well,
really does wonders to you.
I'm just waiting for the update for real life to happen. Like, the RTX update.
Yeah, once they start adding the developer mode debug, that's when shit gets real fun.
What's crazy is that you're the lead developer in that, so.
But you don't have access to the developer tools?
No, but you could access it some way, somehow, in different ways. Like you can help develop your health in a better way by developing better health habits. Honestly, like the biggest part of health, being healthy, isn't so much exercising. It's getting that habit, like ingrained into your head.
Yeah,
getting this habit of
getting a good habit of eating and working out and walking and just eating healthy foods and doing things that aren't harmful to your body, like just good practice habits essentially.
I will
It's one of
say,
those things where it's like, oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that it's just one of those things where it's like if you ask anybody who goes to the gym regularly, like they don't even think about it. It's just like you wake up and go wash, you wake up and go take a piss, or you wake up and eat breakfast. Like to them, it's like, all right, I gotta wake up, I gotta lift some weights. All right, now I start my day. Like they
Right.
don't really put much thought into it. And that's like I think the hurdle that most people don't. They look at like getting into exercising and they just be like, oh my god, like I have to wake up, I have to lift weights, I have to do this. But like that's how it works. Like you have to treat it like a habit that you don't even think about it, you just do it, and then from then on it just becomes second nature.
One thing that would help a lot of people is like motivational speak. So like I know some people use Joe Rogan as a motivational, at least his words to be motivated to exercise. Like one of them is like he was talking to this lady on the podcast and she was saying like, oh, he was too tired to exercise or whatever, and then Joe Rogan said, what do you mean too tired? He couldn't move. He's like, no. It's like, could he walk? He's like, yeah, he could walk. He's like, oh yeah, if you can walk you can exercise. And like if you read too much into it, yeah, of course, like if you can walk doesn't necessarily mean you can exercise. But like what he's saying is, sure, you may feel fatigued, sure, you may feel a little bit stressed and tired, but the thing is, like, one of the great things human love like recuperating from when it comes to like feeling sad or stressed is either sex or exercise. You do one of those two or even both, your body's really gonna be like, damn, whatever I felt bad about, I don't remember what it was now, because your body really, really knows how to detox itself from whatever ails you through exercise and through sex. So obviously a lot of people need to understand like the biggest part of being healthy isn't so much isn't so much eating, isn't so much calorie counting, isn't so much exercise, it's just getting that habit, and that's the biggest part. Like what you said, Daniel, like you're walking 30 minutes. One of the biggest things I ever do whenever I think I'm starting to feel down, I go outside and I walk and take sun, and receiving that vitamin D, it does wonders. Just walking.
Marcus,
Obviously,
you like
I'm out on the
receiving
sun.
that vitamin D?
Exactly. I'm out often anyways, but it's a different feeling when you're just walking, and it does wonders to your body and your health if you just take in some sun. So I feel like with New Year's resolutions, like obviously a lot of people don't want to go to the gym, like they don't want to really be out often, and it led to some people getting sick. But yeah, it's like just go outside, dude. Not even touch grass, just sunbathe, dude. Take in the sun. So it is what it is.
Man, I'll tell you one thing though. One of my favorite things to do is just go outside of my backyard and just pet my cat and just watch the sunset. Like it's so relaxing. It does wonders to you.
Yeah, especially since given that your line of work and the time you go in, you have that luxury to at least not, I wouldn't say luxury. I'm sorry. You have that mentality that, hey, I see the sunset now. My day is technically starting with my job. So like,
it's just kind of a nice calm before the storm.
Right. I think when it comes to what do you call it? When it comes to New Year's resolutions, a lot of people think that going into the New Year's resolutions, doing certain things is easy to say, and people think it's easier said than done. The thing is, if you view motivation, like if you view that you need motivation to do a certain thing, you'll never really succeed. Motivation, like if you think you're just gonna get motivation prior to doing something, you'll never get it. Most people get motivations when they're already in it, when they're already in the thick of it, and they're like, well, I'm already in it, time to keep on going. So a lot of people, what they tend to do is go to the gym. Heck, you just go to the parking lot and stay in the parking lot, and then the motivation comes. It comes prior to that. It's like, hey, or maybe I'm inside the gym, then they get the motivation to work out. It's that you need to start that habit. People need to know that, hey, motivation doesn't come when prior to you doing the thing. Motivation comes when you do it. So what motivates you to push more weight, to beat your last PR, right? It's only because you're already there. You already have that mentality. So if you want to take any advice to any of our listeners, if you want to actually like lose weight every day after work, just go to the parking lot of the gym and just sit there. Even if you feel like you don't want to and you're tired, just sit there. And eventually just be like, damn it, I might as well just go inside, or even better yet, just stay inside until you decide whether you want to stay there or not. But at least you made that first step, right? And it just keeps going and going, and create that habit. Once you made that habit, eventually you'll just be working out in no time. So
it kind of reminds me of that joke that Steven Stallone said in one of the Rocky movies where like when he goes up to those steps and then he says like, you know what, I've been running up and down these steps for years and I never realized that this building had such pretty pictures in it.
Oh yeah, because he's tunnel visioned.
Yep. So, but yeah, I get where you're coming from, Marcos. So Kenny, anything you're looking forward to this year? Anything you want to
New Year's
change for the
resolution?
better?
I mean, it's very typical, but I do want to lose like 50 pounds, but that's my goal entirely is to
Okay.
lose 50 pounds before the end of the year, if not get very close to it. Doing that,
yeah, you can.
I'm doing that by fasting right now during the week.
Careful with that.
I know.
You want to be careful with that.
I know,
Only
but-
because like you got to do proper fasting. You don't want to do like sudden fasting because then your body will think you're in a starving situation
Yeah.
and it holds on to fat.
Yeah. No,
That's not good.
I eat from 1 to 8,
Yeah.
and then I fast the rest of the day.
Oh, you're doing intermittent thing.
Yeah, I'm doing the intermittent fasting.
Oh, okay. My bad.
No, that's cool. I mean, you didn't know. I didn't tell you. But
Right.
yeah, it's been interesting starting it again after so long. Like I want to get back to doing stuff that I haven't done in a long time. Like just randomly going out fishing and riding my bicycle for a couple hours at a time. And
Right.
just going outside doing stuff cuz I've gotten to the point where it's like kind of like a hermit in a way. I don't want to go out. I don't want to do things. I'll go out. I'll hang out with you guys. But that's once in a blue moon. It's not like we go and hang out every day.
Right.
Granted, I mean our
Unfortunately.
schedules don't line up properly, but even then, still, like I can probably go and hang out with Marcos because him and I are practically we work throughout the week and then we have our weekends off.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I will
I just want to lose weight and I want to get back into doing things that I used to do.
Does it
Okay.
ever
Yeah.
does it ever bother you
sorry.
guys to eat the same thing every day,
No,
even though it's tasty?
no.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
What do you mean? Yes and no.
Like I have a like me. I eat like shit all the time, and I'm when you're away from your house all the time, you don't really exactly have time to cook
Yeah.
and shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to cook. And when you're at a job that doesn't let you go out as often, or you don't want to Uber Eats and shit like that,
Right.
you tend to fall back to eating shit that you know isn't good for you and probably isn't that good, but you just fall back to because you know it's reliable for the most part. And I tell it to people, it's like, yeah, I don't really enjoy it, but I'm not really gonna get anything else. But that's all me. I'm well aware of that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, I enjoy eating McDonald's, but at the same time, I'm also like, damn, I've been eating McDonald's.
right.
Like,
That's how I've been with Taco
Like-
Bell. Like, I can eat Taco Bell every day, but that's only because
Same.
I can eat Del Taco every day.
Well, the thing is, I can't eat McDonald's the way I used to anymore because once I got into like going to the gym often and working out,
It
and
makes you
eating
feel
well,
like crap.
the thing is, yeah, if I eat McDonald's or Burger King or anything else, sure.
do you
But
guys? I used to have this happen to me. Do you guys ever eat McDonald's and your heart rate goes up really fast? I remember that happened to me once when I was in school.
No,
it only ever happens to me whenever I eat fast. But that's about it.
he's
Probably.
fast as fuck, boy.
Yeah, because when I eat fast, like obviously, like I'm not taking my time to breathe as much, and then yeah, but no, I don't get that. That's weird.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't get that.
That
either.
was just something I remembered. I haven't happened in recently, but I remember reading about it. I was like, why is my heart rate going up really fast? And so, oh, it's probably the food you just ate.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're eating
Maybe,
unhealthy
I don't remember.
food, but it shouldn't do that to you.
Yeah, but I don't know. I was just wondering if that's ever happened to anybody else. But yeah, what are you saying, Marcos?
I was gonna say the only reason why like a lot of people have this sort of mentality of not eating this, like okay, this mentality of not eating the same thing every day. It was so dumb when in 2020 it's like, oh my gosh, I can't order out and I can't and like I want to eat something different every day. It's like, dog, quit being so damn entitled. It's not that bad. You can eat. You can just look if you want to eat something different every day. Get the exact same chicken breast, just season it differently, and you'll be eating technically something different. But like, holy crap, like one of the greatest things I feel like for me when it comes to like weight loss journey, I can eat chicken breast every freaking day, only because it's so
Yeah,
damn
chicken
easy
breast
to
is
make.
good.
I can make it
I
every
prefer
day.
grilled.
Well,
Yeah, grilled chicken
I've always
breast
been a grilled chicken.
is pretty good.
I like grilled chicken.
one thing I recommend doing is and I've tried it once, and it came out nice. I grabbed chicken breast, I flattened it out, and I put some oil on it, a little bit of olive oil on it, and then my whatever seasoning I wanted, and then I threw it in the air fryer. That shit came out so fucking good, so good. So, but all I'm saying is like one of the big things like people need to learn how to do is like, hey, I'm gonna eat the same thing every day, and that's it. Just rice and chicken, and you'll survive. You'll be fine.
I mean,
But,
yeah, you could eat bread and water and just live off of that.
Well, bread and water doesn't
You don't
sustain
get,
you.
Yeah, you don't get your nutrients.
No,
or,
of course,
or
it's a
anything
saying.
like
That's
that.
what I'm.
Right. But I will say though the when it comes to like fast foods, when I've seen somehow European people eat, they'll eat fast food every day. But if you look at how much they eat, it's night and day difference. Obviously, when it comes to Americans, like Americans gotta
American
eat.
sized.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's what I'm saying that. Like even these people who are still skinny, they can eat unhealthy, but these people don't tend to be super overweight
Because
mainly
their
of
intake is much less.
Of course. So that's why I'm like,
And
Because if you,
it's kind of like with Japan's like sweets and stuff.
Yeah.
Like as an American, if you go eat Japanese sweets,
oh yeah, I had
Yeah.
It's not
mochi not
sugary.
too long ago.
it's because they don't put as much sugar as we do.
Yeah.
wait. We can't forget though. If you go to Mexico, right, and you eat one of their candies, it's a lot sweeter because they use pure cane sugar
Yep.
compared to
Right.
us using high fructose corn syrup.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's a big difference. It's night and day, dude. Like Mexicans, technically per capita, they're the most obese country in the world. If you guys
So
didn't know that.
I didn't, but thank you for the information.
America's number 2. So, yay.
Well, at least we're not number one. If we were number one, that'd be an issue.
We were number 1 for a while, but
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right.
Yeah, no, I think it's because their intake is much smaller. Also, you got to remember, like a cheeseburger from McDonald's is 420 calories. Just a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to have like a cheeseburger and then maybe a real small fry, or even just a cheeseburger, or 2 cheeseburgers, that could be your meal. And then like that's 800 calories out of, I don't know, if you were doing like a 2,000 calorie diet. You can throw in a snack in the middle and then have another meal at the end of your night, or the end of your day.
All right, but that comes with appetite control, obviously.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in general, like that's the thing is you can have a protein cookie and it be the exact same amount of calories as that cheeseburger from McDonald's, and the cheeseburger
Right.
has more protein.
Right. I think what was it? Yesterday I was cooking a burger for myself, and I looked at the ingredients, right? And whatever the patty had,
Mhm.
and the patty itself was 380 calories, and this was a 3rd pounder,
Right.
and then the bun added like an extra 30. And I try to look up like, hey, like what burgers are comparable to this, and I'm like a regular hamburger, and it turns out none of the freaking burgers, any of them from McDonald's or Burger King or anything, like you needed to get the small burgers in order to compare to them. Their bigger burgers are like 800 calories. I'm like, yikes, that's crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
that is crazy.
But it was one of the typical burgers you get from Costco, so it tastes good. It's whatever, you season it and you're fine. But Daniel, any New Year's resolutions for you specifically, other than that's? I'm pretty sure it's something job related.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wrote a list down of some New Year's resolutions. First one, getting a new job, managing a better work-life balance. I'm trying my best to like manage myself a little bit better because one things that really aggravates me the most about working overnight, and the reason why that's like my number one priority, is that my sleep cycle is fucked. Like for the last like week or so,
Yeah.
My preferred way of how I like to function during the week. Give me 1 second. Sorry. My preferred way of functioning during the week is that I rather just like go to work, come home early in the morning, go straight to bed, get as much sleep as possible, and then later wake up in the middle of the afternoon and get shit done. But lately it's been like I would get home and not be able to fall asleep until like 2 o'clock, and by that time you have to like already go to sleep. Like if you're already going to go to work, like you already need to sleep your 8 hours, right? So that's just been kind of been throwing me off the rocker a little bit. Like the other night at work, I was fighting for my life to stay awake. I couldn't sleep well the other day, and that was just like really, really aggravating for me to stay up. So that's why like priority number one, get another job, because everything else is kind of superfluous or it's related to that one thing, and I need to get my balance together. That's definitely one of the bigger things that I'm trying to do. Other things, mainly it's just production stuff, just to be consistent, because I do want to get this whole internet thing going on, and I want to like be consistent. Like I'm tired of like putting things off or like putting things away and things like that. But it's aggravating because you're way too tired or unmotivated to keep doing it, because you're fucking exhausted 5 days out of the week.
Yep.
You can even say even 6. Let's see. Branching out. Trying to do more stuff. Exercising. Finally learn how to cook. I think that's something I should actually like really get around as someone who just turned 26, is to actually learn how to get behind a fucking kitchen. Let's see. Promise a day to get myself to get some rest. And honestly, though, if I could be honest, I really want to relearn how to play an instrument again. I really want to learn how to play bass guitar, and mainly, I've always wanted, and I've been really fascinated, because you guys know me. I get super hyper focused on something. I want to learn it as fast as possible. Like I wanted to learn how to skateboard earlier in 2020, but then the pandemic happened, and we all had to stay inside all day. So I was like, fuck, I can't really. I was gonna go learn how to skate with Marcos's cousin, but it just never went through. But I really want to learn how to play drums. I really want to like get a drum kit. I want to get like an electronic drum kit to get somewhere fit in this cramped ass bedroom. But I really want to learn how to play drums and maybe pick up guitar again, or a bass guitar, and maybe learn how to play guitar.
I mean, you don't really have space
for a drum kit. No,
No,
but for
no.
a guitar.
No,
yes.
guitar, yeah. But I was just saying. Like,
So, but yeah, that's something I really want to do. I think learning an instrument is I think something that everybody needs to know at some point. I think like learning how to play an instrument is so beneficial to the human body that it's really important. It teaches you patience, it teaches you practice, it teaches you timing. It's a lot of things. And I think like everyone should learn how to play one instrument. I'm a firm believer at that.
I agree with you, and the reason why I say that, much like with working out, at least when it comes to like weight training, that like learning an instrument does is like you could see your own progression physically, right? Like you could see that, hey, I couldn't play this certain progression here, but through practice now it's super easy. One great way that a lot of people see like how well they've they've gone when it comes to like their music journey is like, hey, I was able to play this scale and I finished doing this scale in 10 seconds, right? But now I can do it in 8. Now I can do it in 6. And because you could play faster, you're a lot more accurate, you're a lot more what do you call it? Accurate. You're a lot more accurate. You don't have any more dead notes when you're doing it. Like it sounds full, and you're able to move your fingers around in a lot more fluid motion. So much like with weight training, actually even more so than weight training, in learning an instrument, you can see your own progression, and you can only get angry at yourself really. With skateboarding, it's not the same, because with skateboarding you need to like learn muscle memory, and that takes some time to learn. That takes some time to get used to. When it comes to working out, obviously it takes a lot more time, but you can see the gradual improvements even once you're on it. But when it comes to instruments, like with bass guitar, it's like, hey, I couldn't hit this lick, but like after some time, I've managed to get it, and I can do it consistently. So that's one thing like a lot of people like I agree with you. Like a lot of people should learn how to play an instrument, because it gets you focused, it gets you how to break things down, and it allows you to know how to learn how to practice things, because you can see yourself get better as you go on. So that's one of the great things I learned about playing guitar, that the more I played, the better I got, and the more I saw myself get better. So yeah,
that's pretty much the gist of it. I feel like that'll be something fun to do, was just pick up an instrument again and just get back into the potential. I still have my old bass guitar, but that thing has been worn the fuck out since high school. Like plugging it in and out, that like the input thing
jack
is so loose. The jack, yeah, it's so fucked at this point. That's like, you know what? I'm just gonna put this up on the wall and I'll just get another guitar at some point.
I mean, I'm sure it's fine now. Maybe just clean up the pickups, replace the
No,
strings.
it works. It still works, but it's like, at that point, it's like that thing is barely hanging together by tape, that I'd just rather just put it away. It's done its part.
Can't wait for Chad Muska to give me a new guitar then, because my thing is held together by tape.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
But
so, yeah.
I guess.
Let's
What
were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, when it comes to like New Year's resolutions, it's mostly just about improving oneself. But I think one thing everyone, especially the here in this podcast and anyone listening to this podcast, that when it comes to New Year's resolution, I think you should focus on the collective, the community itself. And recently, I had a friend who had issues when it comes to like self-harming themselves. So I guess one thing I would say with New Year's resolution is like, hey, like focus on your own mental health, because a lot of people, especially men, they gloss over it. They don't think it's that
Mm-hmm.
important. But like also look out for other people's mental well-being as well. Uh, a lot of people just they go on life not having the same things that like the same privileges that we have. That like a good communication with their family, their friends. Some people might not have that. They might be in
Yeah.
a toxic environment. So I guess one thing a lot of people should look out for is, especially for 2022, is just look out for other people a
Right.
lot more so than normal, and try to put that effort into it. So yeah, that's all else I gotta say about the New Year's resolution.
Okay. So let's circumvent. Let's circle back around to that. So what do you guys would say was your game of the year of last year?
Um, I mean, it's kind of obvious for me. Halo Infinite, hands down, has been
Okay.
my game of the year so far. But there has been some close contenders. Resident Evil 8 was pretty good. I'm not gonna knock it. Like that was a pretty good game. But I did give it a big break throughout the year before finishing it. And then I'd say Ratchet and Clank was another really good one that I played this year, or well, technically last year. That you know, but I kind of like I rushed through that game because I wanted to just delete it and then continue on to other games since PlayStation has like two gigabytes of storage.
Hmm.
I mean, that's probably the only reason. But Halo is still my top one out of all of them.
Okay. What about you, Marcos? What was your game of the year?
Mm, um, Dead by Daylight, honestly,
Dead by Daylight. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
mainly because I got into a community, or how should I say this? I wouldn't say into an actual like community, but into a realm, into a sphere of people who play Dead by Daylight a lot, and because of that, like I've realized that Dead by Daylight is a game, a very niche game where um there's different things you can do. Obviously, you can be survivor, killer, certain sweat perks, certain sweat characters, that items as well. But like overall, like the game is very unforgiving. The game is very frustrating. But if you're playing with friends, it's also not a fun time for the killer. So it's a very nice game, very immersive game. It's a very sort of balanced game. Whenever it calls for it. Like I know it's not a new game, but to me, I started playing Dead by Daylight I think in 2021 or towards the end of 2020, but I only really got into it last year a lot more. So I've been enjoying the heck out of it. So especially with friends, but that's my personal uh that's my personal game of the year.
My personal game of the year, as I said this, I think a couple episodes ago, was either had to be Metroid Dread because that game was so good. Like I'm still working on that fucking Dread video, but I really enjoyed it. Or it would have to be Final Fantasy 14's Endwalker expansion.
Mm-hmm.
That expansion was such a great way. I finished it a couple weeks ago, at least main story quest, and it was great. It really was like a closer for a 10-year story. That now that we're done with that saga, now the only thing left to do is just to keep going from there and start our new adventures as the Warriors of Light. And man, it was great. I didn't get as emotional as other people get, but I will say it did like kind of hit me in certain ways. When you finally like look back at all the shit you've been through and all the 10 years of the story being told, and it's just like such a great way to end it. But it's not like the end of the game, but it's like this is the end of this saga, and now we only have everything else to go. It was really good. Like I really enjoyed it. Like the everything of that expansion was just great. But yeah, it had to be either been Metroid Dread or and Walker. But I'm going to try something different this year. I'm going to try my best to keep a tally of all the games I play of this year, old or new or current or whatever.
Mhm.
I don't really give a shit about like, oh, what's the hot new game of, of this year. Unless it's a game I legitimately care about, I really don't want to give it attention. I don't ever want to just like get a game just because it's new, because you know me, I'm so on the uptick. I'm the kind of guy that waits for either the game will go on sale or the
Yeah.
game gets
Yeah.
better or whatever.
Yep.
I'd rather just be like, you know what? Let me just not regret it. I'm just gonna wait it out and see what comes out, right?
Mhm.
And so I'm gonna definitely keep track of it. So far, the games I've played starting this year would have to be 14. Now I'm just doing the post MSQ content, and I finally gave this game a shot, and I'm actually looking forward to. I might stream it soon. I finally played a Hunt Showdown. And man, that game is, we're talking, Marcos, you were saying earlier about games that are like very tailor made for certain people, or like very niche audiences. I think
Yeah.
this game is one of them. Like Hunt is one of those games that like I remember hearing about it a couple years ago from Bunny Hop, and I didn't think much of it. It's like, okay, this looks kind of cool, and then I went on my merry way. But all of a sudden, the game came back to my consciousness, and it wasn't like I was exposed to it again. It just suddenly came back to my head, and I bought it during the Steam Winter Sale, and I remembered I played it like a whole night with one guy who was from Bermuda, and he was playing it through a GeForce Experience
Oof.
streaming
Rough.
computer. Yeah, it wasn't easy. I mean, like at one point we were extracting, and he was like, "Oh no, dude, I'm about to disconnect from my session," and then he like got disconnected in the game, and then I had to leave. I extracted. He had to get back into the game and fucking log back into the same match I just left, and then he was still able to get extracted. But yeah, it was fun, but damn, is it difficult? Like it is punishingly difficult.
Mhm.
But I'm having a blast. I'm actually play it after we're done recording today. Actually, you guys should give Hunt Showdown a shot. It's really good, really really
I had
good.
my buddy trying to talk me into getting it, and I mean, I never been fond of that idea. Like, oh yeah, play 4v4 and then against whatever else is being thrown at you.
Well, it's a 12-player map, and your objective is to like find the big monster you're trying to kill, and then try to get the
So,
bounty.
hang on.
You could win
E-
even by not getting the bounty. You just have to survive.
Evolve with
Well,
12
no, I wouldn't
players?
say evolve. Well, it's way better than evolve.
Well, I
At
know.
least
I'm just saying,
well,
like,
this game at least has a pulse. The other one died on arrival.
I
God, I still.
all I'm saying is like I don't know. It's just it's never been like that sort of oh wow, let me play this game sort of feel for me at least. I don't know. I'm very particular with my games. I don't like to waste my time.
No, I understand. I totally understand. Some games are it's just not, But I definitely recommend it. If it ever gets a free weekend, I highly
Yeah,
recommend
yeah, I'll
you just
try it
give
if
it a
it's a
shot.
free weekend. You just got to remind me, that's all. I mean,
Will do.
Marcos.
I think when it comes to gaming as a whole, a lot of people are comparing the old school to the new school about like, hey, when I was a kid, I played this game. When I did, when me and my friends played this game, I feel like with as the you know the tides of time wash over everything, gaming as a whole will obviously change as well. A lot of people want to hold on to what's old and what they know, but like honestly, like I I grew out of Halo. I know Halo now is like an amazing game, but like I don't have that what do you call it? That urge to like
Nostalgic bond.
I wouldn't say bond. I was just like the emotion isn't really quite there anymore. Like to play it like as crazy, like because I just moved on to different things. Like one of my favorite game of all time, it will still always be Fallout New Vegas, only because of how like different it was, how it changed the meta for myself.
Right.
Because it wasn't just like, hey, go to this place and just shoot. This place actually like gave you like actual reasoning, actual like, hey, you need to do this thing, and here are the moral implications behind it. People are involved, and sure, it's just a bunch of codes, a bunch of ones and zeros, but like it's still like if you took the game seriously, you're just like, damn, should I turn this guy in? Should I not? Should I kill the people of this town? Should I let go the prisoners who are going to destroy the town? What should I do? Like stuff like that like leads you into like this into this path of like really self like questioning your own morals and putting them to the test, obviously through a through a video game. But like a lot of games, like I just don't really play too much. Like the same old school stuff. Like I still play COD because it's still COD, right? Like it's the one I can still be like brain dead about.
It's a
and,
safe
just
bet.
Play.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a safe bet. It's like junk food. You know, you don't buy a bag of Doritos and be like, oh man, I hope this bag of Doritos is full of fucking carbs.
So like
Right.
Battlefield, even though it's getting a bad rap, it's not as bad as everybody's making it out to be. Like Portal is pretty impressive, and then you have
But they got rid of Rush.
actually I was on it the other day. They still had Rush on there.
They did? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All I know is that it's only getting worse community wise. Like the game, sure, it's whatever, because like the glitches are fun.
The
but
issue is that more and more of these companies are relying on the microtransactions as a steady income, and they're just putting all their focus into the microtransactions rather than the actual game itself.
Which that's not a good thing.
Of course
No.
not.
Hey, we're gonna release a product that is dog shit, but you know what? We're gonna make microtransactions so we make sure that our bottom dollar is still secured.
Yep.
which is why I didn't like the whole idea that what do you call it, that Halo was still in its beta, but you can still put money into it. Like that was
Yep.
like yikes, big old yikes.
It's like, why bother to make the integrity of your game actually good? You know?
Yeah.
It's so fucking stupid. You know, and funny enough, Marcos, you know, I showed you guys that little Dark Age video, you know, because everybody likes making those edits. I love them.
Mhm.
Where, you know, we were looking back at all these like games and stuff like that, and people say, oh man, like we live at a time where like microtransactions and battle royales and this and that. But the way I look at it is like, well, that's with most things in life. It's called trends. Like there's a reason why, you know, back then that was like the birth of the DLC, the map pack. You know, every genre, every decade or time frame all had their own little thing. You know, it's not like a universal time that everything was perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
just our time with our back in the day, we used to have map packs that split up the community. Now it's fucking season passes or it's just a lot of, it's just things. It's just, there's always going to be something bad in every decade. It's like when people say, oh yeah, man, the 60s was great. Yeah, but the racism wasn't. So, you know, you got to take the good with the bad in that situation, you know?
Of course. I think when it comes to no, go ahead. Actually, go ahead.
I just think that microtransactions, I think they're good, but I think that they're implemented way too heavily. Like, I feel like, you know, these free-to-play games, I understand the free-to-play games. Halo was kind of a different story. It didn't really need to be $20 for each bundle or $15 or $10. You know, they could have had it like 3 and 7, 10 being the max. Because not only are people buying the campaign, like they could have, since they attached the free to play to the campaign, they could have just had it as a cheaper version. Just like the older Call of Duty games, you know, before Warzone, all these games, they have the microtransactions in them, and yet these bundles are stupid expensive. And season passes,
those are just like,
oh
those
man,
are just skin bundles.
I know, but still, like, it's just the thought. It's the fact that you're paying $60 for a product, and then you're paying like, I know with map packs and stuff like that, you're paying extra, but at least when that content's done, you're not spending any more money. Like, you have all the content. With microtransactions, it's taken away the urge to like show off what you've earned in video games. You know, it's like now it's, oh, look at how much money I've spent on this bundle and look how much money I've spent on that bundle.
Yeah, you don't want to go to Fortnite and have a default skin, man. I was getting made fun of by a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Better go get your V-Bucks.
But the one thing that Daniel did bring up is like you divided the actual community by having map packs.
Right.
You couldn't access certain things because it's became the paywall.
Well, that's why you go and you look at like I don't want to reference Halo 5, but Halo 5, honestly, like I think in a way it did things good, and in another way it did things bad. So them relying just on the rec system for cosmetics and weapons and stuff like that was a terrible idea. Had it just been like Warzone cosmetics and Warzone weapons and stuff like that, I would have been fine with. But, you know, it was like $3 just for a gold pack. that's a reasonable price if you ask me. $3, you get that. That's your microtransaction. You know you're getting something random, and that's going to be the end of it. Then you have
But that's like loot box territory right there, my dude.
yes, but if it's gauged towards one part of the game rather than the entire game, and you're able to earn it freely, shouldn't it not be an issue? I mean, Halo wasn't really egregious with their loot boxes. This is why it never made it onto the big news like other games did. Call of Duty. But like I feel like that would have been a perfect balance had they mixed kind of like how they had Halo 3 armor unlocks, maybe a little bit of Halo Reach armor unlocks. I know I'm talking about Halo, but this is just like reference. Like you get the earnables.
Well, you need a point of reference.
Yeah, so you have earnables, you have buyables with credit, and then you have your random, like, I wouldn't want to call it a loot box, but similar to a loot box where it's here's this $3 bundle. You know, you could. I don't want to. Well, then it would be a loot box, but like you have your cheaper bundles because you're paying for the video game in the first place. Like these free to play games, I understand 100%. You know, these people are sending out a product for free. They're not earning $1 off of the actual game. They're earning dollars off of the microtransaction. But like you have that, and then you have all these major games that do the season pass. I get it, you know. I'm very tired with the way video games is right now. It's every game has a battle pass. There's every game has that FOMO where if you miss this day, then oh no, you're gonna miss out on tier whatever, and then you won't get it later on where you make tier 100 or whatever. There's a lot of games that have the season passes, like. Yeah, they have the quote-unquote free DLC, but it's actually just updates to add in maps, which, heck, if you go and look at Modern Warfare 3 didn't have a season pass. They gave out free maps.
Yeah, but they still had packs that you had to buy, regardless of the fact that you...
But the neat thing about Modern Warfare 3 was you could turn off the DLC and just play the base map, so you wouldn't be separated.
Again, splitting up the player base.
Again, splitting up that's not an argument for it. That's an argument against it. What the thing is, like, even COD now, you can play COD just fine. You won't develop community anyway. Sure, you may not get the same skins because of the battle pass. Some
weapons.
Right. The only thing that I can, like, the argument for not getting like the battle pass was sort of like pay to win was the what was her name?
Metaguns.
No, what was her name?
Rose skin,
right?
Mm-hmm.
That one was all blacked out, and people were having an issue, and it took them a while to actually freaking fix that issue.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, the there was also a point where the Mac 10 from Cold War, there was a blueprint at the very end, was broken AF because it did more damage, and people were like, "Well, that's dumb," but those are just like bad code.
Yeah,
you know what I think is also egregious? I just thought about this, right? I've been noticing with like the new Vanguard map that dropped on Warzone, the fact that if you don't have Vanguard and the progression is so fucking slow in that game, I imagine how difficult it must have been to level up your weapons if you didn't play the Vanguard before you started playing Warzone.
Oh, the good thing about
Same thing for Cold War.
You earn experience just from holding the gun.
True, but I feel like that's still longer though.
Kind of, yeah. What was it? It was the same thing for Cold War, but when they dropped double EXP events, people just played Plunder because Plunder would always give you, well, one, respawns, and two, you're able to use your loadout from the get-go. So one thing that at least that, of course, Raven has to do their own game, but of course Activision wants you to buy the base game, regardless, because that's their whole shtick. Of course, they want you to buy the base game, so then you can take those weapons and follow the meta and take them over to Warzone. That's not super like crazy, and it's an actual smart move. You don't really divide the community that way, but what does suck for a lot of people is that they spent all their time grinding up one meta weapon, and then like once they get that weapon to the level they wanted
then
it to
gets
be,
patched.
Then it gets patched, and then they gotta do it for another weapon.
I think the DMR that was like the one time where I was just like, I can't play this game anymore. Like I
The
legitimately was like,
DMR,
unless they
not the 725.
no, I think the
No,
DMR
it was the
was
DMR. Yeah, the DMR was literally the worst time
it was like
probably
the
ever.
most egregious thing ever. It was so like God, it was so aggravating. I couldn't stand it, man. I was that one part.
You would
It
get
was like, all
three
right,
shot,
cool.
dude.
Well,
In under a second, you would get three shotted.
exactly. It was like it was ridiculous. It was like, you know what? Until they patch this thing out, I'm not playing Warzone.
You couldn't even react because of how
Nope.
quick the time to kill was. And then went to the M16 and AUG, which even then, you still couldn't react before getting wrecked. And then they nerfed them heavily, which honestly, it was what it was, but like it was horrible back then,
Right,
like compared to now.
right.
But wait,
But,
no,
yeah.
no, it's bad. It's
I
still
don't know.
bad.
The new Warzone map is not really doing wonders for me, and I would argue that it's even worse. Apparently, that people are saying that ever since this new update came out for the Warzone, apparently Modern Warfare 2019 is unplayable, even to an extent Warzone as well. But yeah, I've just ironically I just started to play Fortnite, and I'm learning how to play that game, and I'm actually having fun with that. The silence is deafening.
I will say though that even now Warzone still has its issues. Like people, what do you call it? Like there's the
The numbers of bugs. I
No,
remember
no.
the one. There was this bug that really pissed me off about the first time I tried to play the new Warzone update. The game would auto un-ADS me or ADS me at random. God, that pissed me off.
Yeah,
so
but
much.
you also toggle to ADS, so you have no right to talk. You disgusting
Ooh,
fruit.
Why
Ew.
the fuck would you hold the ADS?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't you, bro? That's kinda,
Why would you?
Well,
That's disgusting,
do
bro.
you hold an aim when you're aiming down a sight of a weapon in real life?
Yes.
All
no,
right, then.
I don't because I'm not holding a fucking gun. I'm holding a mouse.
It's kind of cringe, dude. Not gonna lie. But I will say though that like even now since Vanguard brought in the 10 perk, the 10 attachment system
Back.
to a weapon,
Yeah.
it's really changed the
meta.
the landscape of everything. So one thing about Warzone that's being afflicted right now is like back then I think in Modern Warfare it was a snake shot akimbo 357 magnums that made shit really really bad. Now it's the for Cold War it was the Diamati, akimbo,
Yeah.
full auto.
Yep. Fully auto with the extended
No.
mags and.
No, it wasn't fully auto. It was not fully auto. It was 3 round burst, but it was still
But
like
it was extended
27
mags,
bullets
yeah.
for each one.
No, it was like
right?
it was like 8. It was 40 bullets in each one. When you
No,
had
it was 20-something.
when you had the extended mag, it was 40 bullets in
Yeah,
each
the
one.
extended mag. You could just. I've seen them. I've seen a team
Yeah,
of
yeah.
people run them. They run into a staircase, just hold both triggers.
Well,
everywhere.
look, I maxed out the gun and through zombies, and from my memory, it was 27 bullets per per extended mag. And then you had them both. Regardless, you would never run out of ammo once you wiped out a team. You
Yeah.
can, and then it's a pistol. You just reload. Then came the Psychov pistols where you freaking akimbo those, and each gun had 80 bullets. Each gun had 80 rounds, and it was full auto, and everything was crazy. So like, yeah. So now the meta is having akimbo akimbo double barrel shotguns with incendiary ammo and sawed-off barrel, and that like you can't contest it, and how fast it reloads. Like there's no way around it.
Yeah, there
You
is.
can't really.
There's a way
you
to.
can't-
There's a way around it.
What's the way around it?
You stay away from people like that.
Well, here's the thing, Kenny. It's a battle royale. You can't stay away.
Yeah, you
It
can.
closes in
Marcos.
circles.
Yeah, you
the
can.
true way to
Marcos.
win. The true way to win the game is to uninstall it because the real way to win is to not play the game at all.
No, the true way to win is to do the stim glitch like they did back in the day.
True. That is true.
Or under the map glitch.
Under the map glitch, the stim
I don't know,
glitch.
man. Something about Warzone just feels so fucking shoddy for a game this big in development and with the develop. I don't know. I just find I don't know, man. It's like I feel like don't they really test this game out?
I
know.
don't think so, honestly.
Well, one thing that I've mentioned multiple times in this podcast isn't so much the developers themselves not testing things out. It's obviously, and this is my thing with like companies, with politics even as a whole, like shareholders really, really, really have a
They have a heavy hand in the gaming industry.
right. So who cares? Like developers don't really care about the customers what they want. All they really care about is their bottom dollar.
Well, it's not the
And
developers; it's actually the management.
Shareholders.
Wait, didn't I say shareholders? My bad.
No,
So yeah.
You said developer.
Oh, my bad. So the shareholders don't really care about the customer's experience. They'll care about is their bottom dollar. Developers, they're trying their best, but obviously the chain of command isn't really like helping them out in any way. But so like people keep saying like, hey, like don't they test it out? Of course they tested it out. Of course they knew this shit was going down. Of course Treyarch knew that zombies in Vanguard wasn't like the best. But like what can they do? They were spread out thin and they were forced to finish this in record time. So like people were upset, sure, rightly so, but you're pointing the anger at the wrong spot, and the developers get the brunt of it.
Yeah, they do,
because it's not the developers for the most part. If anyone wanted to, they just released the game a year later. They felt like it because they needed more time, and obviously no developer worth their salt doesn't want to freaking
you guys
release something
remember
that they're not proud of.
You guys remember a time when games had to release in complete version?
I don't rarely. A lot of games never release in completed versions. Like there's still bugs. There's still a lot of like issues.
You're gonna have like little bugs and stuff. Like, but I'm talking about like look at the N64 games. There's no updating those cartridges.
No, but even then, a lot of exploits and a lot of bugs were found. And guess what? They can't do much, but you need to play the game within the confines and bounds that are set already for you. And if you don't go out looking for shit, then yeah, sure, you'll find. You won't find it, and you'll have a pleasant experience. Much like if you play a single player of any of these first-person shooters, like you play Vanguard multiplayer, you have a different experience compared to just playing the campaign. The campaign is beautiful. The campaign is great. It actually has a good story, but like when it comes to like
I'm just
N64
talking about
stuff
in general, like look at Halo 3. Yeah, it had the map packs, but you didn't really need them. I remember playing Halo 3 and not needing the map packs. And
sure, but you could still say like the game was still bugged from the get-go. It still has bugs now.
I mean, it needs
to be updated.
It's just glitches that you can get outside the map. I mean, it's nothing like game breaking or like look at Cyberpunk for instance. That game was broken day one for a lot of people.
Right. Of course, and that's the thing that again, like it's a shareholder thing versus a developer thing.
Of course,
you really can't. You have to appease one and ruin the other, because obviously, like with Halo Infinite, like Microsoft didn't give a shit. This was supposed to be their cash cow, and they turned it into their cash cow. They needed it to be their cash cow, so they said they bit the bullet. And they're like, sure, whatever. We're going to extend this game out one more year, and like even though there's still issues with the game itself, like
they knew they needed to push it back a year, because had it came out the way it did, I think Halo would have probably not been existent after Halo Infinite would have came out last year.
Yeah, it would have died off. Like it would be another year, another more like
about
half a year, half a decade of bad Halo games.
Yeah.
Speaking about Halo Infinite and dying, isn't the player base for Halo Infinite like really gone down recently?
I mean, it goes down by like 2% a day. I think it is.
Let me see the Steam charts for Halo Infinite.
That's only indicative of just Steam's version.
True, very true. But I'm just using that as like just
as a gauge.
basis.
I mean, there's not that many people that are playing it off of Steam, believe it or not. If you're playing it with Game Pass, really.
True, but some people only just play it on Steam. They only care about like the multiplayer, like me. All right, so it's not that bad. It's like almost 40K.
Yeah, that's
players.
not bad.
Okay,
and that's just on Steam. I mean, imagine you have the Game Pass and Windows Store version. You have the Xbox version. You have the Xbox One version. I mean, there's plenty of avenues.
I love, speaking about player count, I love how Kenny defended Battlefield 2042, saying it's not that bad of a game, but its player base is less than its previous installment.
Oh yeah, I know.
So like Battlefield, let me see. Battlefield 4 is getting close to the amount of concurrent players that is in.
Yep. Yep, I heard about that.
And then I think Battlefield 1, which one was the one before 2042?
5.
5, right? Battlefield 5 has way more players on it concurrently.
Well, that's because
Battlefield
of the hype
1
of Battlefield 2042.
No, but yeah, hype when the game prior to coming out, the game is already out and people are like, I'm going to go back to Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1 because I'm not going to play this game. And guess what?
Yeah, that's what I did.
2042, like even recently, everyone was popping off saying like even hackers don't want to develop hacks for the game anymore because the best anti-cheat Battlefield DICE has ever developed was a bad game. No, what was it? Yeah, cheat software developer wants to develop a game, for a game that no one wants to play because
It's not profitable.
it's not profitable, right? So how ironic. The best anti-cheat system to date is just having a bad game. So yeah,
Call of Duty
it
needs to get on board with that one.
It sucks that that's the condition, that's the results of what's happening now to Battlefield 2042. But well, it's EA. EA loves killing off big and beloved companies, right? So
Right.
it's just another day, another day. It's
Another day in the neighborhood.
So that being said, I wonder what their plan is to be coming up with this 2042.
Yeah, I
I'm
wonder
sure
how they're
y'all heard
gonna
about-
how they're gonna reel people back in. I know that they're coming out with the season pass for the game, which here we go. Yeah,
Money.
season
Yes.
pass again, another one.
Yeah, after release. Wait, so they release a season pass after the game botches
Yeah.
launch?
Yeah.
That's really gonna incentivize.
I mean,
people.
hey, at
players.
least it's not Anthem.
Yeah, but Anthem
Oh,
at least did the honorable thing and literally disconnected everything.
Yeah, like it lifted itself up from its deathbed and unplugged the life support.
Yeah.
Saved the nurses some trouble.
Now, they did say that we're going to work on it.
Yeah, they
To
said,
make-
"Oh yeah, we're gonna come out with the Anthem 2.0." I guess they realized development was gonna cost too much for the game, and it wasn't worth their time. So they said, "Yeah,
Right.
that's going to be canned." So you guys have fun on the Christmas update, and that's gonna be the end of the game.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they've ever officially said that they're going to stop developing it.
They-
It's
I
still
think they
hush hush.
did.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I don't know.
Yeah, developers can say they're stopped developing. They might still like do patchwork and stuff like that, but as far as like content goes, they could just say, "All right, this is it. This is the last content patch," and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, right here.
Right.
Anthem 2.0 has been officially canceled by EA and Bioware.
Oh, okay.
With any new
I think,
development on the game coming to an end, in spirit of transparency and closure, we wanted to share that we made the difficult decision to stop our new development work on Anthem, aka Anthem Next.
Oh, right. That's what it was. That's what they were working on.
Yeah.
A new Anthem. I will say, though, that the... what do you call this? When it comes to just... Actually, I wanted to point out something that you brought up, Kenny, about battle passes. I see your disdain for battle passes, and I get it. I understand. But multiple times, at least in this podcast, you defended Halo Infinite's battle pass, even though it's still a battle pass.
I
Get caught.
didn't really defend
You
it.
kinda
It was
did
I was
twice.
talking about what was it?
You're saying that it was going to get improved when you were complaining about the progression system.
Because I mean, it needs improvement. Granted, yes, it's still a battle pass, but it still needs improvement. Overall, I am tired of battle passes. Even the Halo one, I just finished it today. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of.
Well,
I finished a lot of the Call of Duty ones. You know, it's not like I'm against them. I just don't think that they should be in every freaking multiplayer game that's out there.
I don't mind it. The way Call of Duty did it, I don't mind it, mainly because you still level up as like it's free. You like just the more when you play, you get Battle Pass EXP.
Yeah.
Sure, you can't unlock everything, but you'll get something. And like Season Pass, Battle Pass, whatever you want to call it. But like the stuff you get, like the main things that they add is 2 new weapons, and that's always free in the Battle Pass. So one thing that I liked about Fallout 76, even though you know the game has a lot of issues, is there is a Season Pass, a Battle Pass that is free. But if you have Fallout first, their subscription-based thing, what is it? You get an extra like 15, 20 items that really don't break the game in any way. It's just like extra, like, hey, here's extra this or extra that. Like it's not like it's not even worth getting Fallout first to get the extra shit. So like the battle pass for Fallout 76, it's you do daily tasks, you do daily objectives, and then weekly objectives, and then you get EXP for the season pass.
Okay, so
And
those 20 items
that's-
that you just mentioned, why wouldn't you just make it an earnable?
because they want money. and it's
See,
Fallout.
I'm
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 not.
I'm
I'm
not
not.
talking about
I'm
Fallout.
not defending
I'm
Halo.
just
I'm
talking
not
about.
defending Fallout
I'm just
like the
talking
way you
about.
defend Halo.
I'm
I'm
just
just
talking
saying
about
that
in
it's
general.
bad.
I'm just talking about in general. I mean,
Well,
like,
yeah, of
you
course, I
know,
get it, but their battle pass, relative to Call of Duty's, their battle pass is actually like surprisingly not
good.
scummy. It's
Okay.
not scummy. Like it's like you
Like
get
I
free shit
said, like I
regardless.
said, there's some games that rightly so have a battle pass, and it makes sense to have it in that video game. I mean, heck, look at all the battle like the battle royale games. They all have battle passes. I don't complain about that. I mean, free to play to begin with, and like kudos to them. That's their way of putting in new content into the game. But like
Right.
you have there's other means. You know what I mean? Like challenges or I don't know, the updates, how they did like the map packs back in the day, or I mean, there's just different ways to do it. You know, earnables through the campaign or through the campaign DLC, or you know,
Hmm.
there's just other avenues that they can be adding these things in, trickling it with little updates here and there, rather than here's 100 items every month or every 3 months or however long the battle pass is for that particular game. And once it's gone, it's gone. So good luck.
Yeah, that's one thing I did like about, at least with COD battle passes, because with Fallout, like in my example with Fallout, once this battle pass is gone, it's gone. But with
Call of
COD,
Duty, it's the same thing.
no, no,
But the
no.
free
The bi-
guns, the free
the
guns.
the right. The main thing about these battle passes that anyone looks forward to is the free weapons, because they're new weapons. They change the meta. They change
Yeah,
how things sometimes, right? So
right.
you could still earn these guns. It's just now you need to do challenges, which are just fine. But the one thing I will now end with this with battle pass, because this episode's gone long enough, is that
Hmm.
one thing that um, you as a developer, and this is what's going on now with WoW, with any MMO. One thing I love about Warframe is the combat is unlike any other MMO out there. That combat is so damn fluid and sexy. You can't freaking compete Warframe's MMO combat to any other game. Their PvP may not be as well, but their PvE is godly, right? However, retention is very important to any massive online game or any multiplayer game, to be in fact, for that matter. The thing with both MMOs and any typical multiplayer game is retention and bringing in new people
Right.
with these challenges, these big challenges that everyone wants to be a part of. Like look at Halo Reach, right? Halo Reach had amazing
Oh yeah,
armor
the
designs.
weekly challenges, armor design,
Yeah, but you
customization.
needed
I
to do
mean,
challenges, right? Hey,
yeah.
you wanted a black visor, you needed to do this challenge. Hey, you wanted a flaming head, you needed to do this
Well, you
challenge.
don't have
Hey,
to
you
do
needed
them. It was just to accrue credits faster.
right.
But that was
So
what I liked
one
about Halo 3 was you play the campaign on Legendary. Here's armor piece. Like you have stuff to show
right,
for it.
right. What I'm saying is that now, given this multiplayer or given this new era of gaming,
Hmm.
a lot of people are more involved into gaming, because even back then, even when we were kids, we were still in that era of like, oh, you play video games, ill, right? But now everyone plays video games, so now it's no longer seen as a stigma. So now a lot more people are playing. So people want to get everything that they can in the game without getting too crazy. There are certain things you can't get because you're like, I'm not going to get that, but you want the majority of the experience. That's why a lot of people complain about Dark Souls difficulty, because I paid for this game, so I should get the most thing. It's that like the most of the things that I want, I should get, right? That entitled mentality leads into like you should look into it as well as for like multiplayer games. Hey, I want that skin, and guess what? Our shareholders want money, so we're going to develop a battle pass because money, right? And we're going to develop all these things because if you want this certain skin or you want this gun
Well,
early,
like
you
like
buy
my
it.
first like my first thing, you can still have your bundles so you can buy skins.
Oh yeah.
You can have your credits so you can buy certain pieces that you might like, or you earn premium currency by playing the game and slowly accrue that currency very slowly. Um, or you can earn certain items like I don't know. Let's talk about Call of Duty for instance. Let's say you beat the campaign on Legendary or not Legendary. You beat the campaign on Veteran, and it gives you like some sort of
An
gun variant
achievement.
and an achievement, or it gives
Yeah.
you a character skin, or it unlocks a character for you. I mean, like something to say, I earned this. I feel rewarded that I earned this, and spent my time playing through something. Like, that's one big gripe I have with Halo Infinite, is the multiplayer unlocks, and you get nothing for beating the game on Legendary.
Yeah, because it's separate. But yeah, I see what you mean.
It's completely disconnected from the multiplayer experience. But I think we're going to go ahead and leave it at that, folks, because I think this episode's been going on a little too long. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's wrap. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the DKM podcast. We hopefully hope that you guys started your New Year off better than how it was before. And I double entendre myself.
Yeah.
But the point is, though, I hope you guys are starting out the new year well. I hope everybody gets their New Year's resolutions down and makes 2022 better than it was last year. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter. Join our Discord server. We would love to have you along for our little community. We're going to still try our best to get our show on as many streaming platforms as possible for you guys to listen to. As you guys know, you can watch or listen to us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor, and other streaming services. And with that, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye. Have a good one. Until next time, see you later.